All right, let's get more on this now from political consultant and human rights advocate Arnaud Devalet. Good to have you on with us. I'd like to hear your thoughts about the timing of the SBU chief's recent admission to bombing the Crimean Bridge. Why now, you think?
Well, obviously, the military situation on the front is not going quite as expected, despite overhyping the event of the counteroffensive, as it were. And everybody in Kiev is trying to exist politically by every means possible, since there are rumors that some people might be on the chopping block. So, as we know, the SBU is known first and foremost for their PSYOP operation. And so in this particular instance, the head of the SBU is throwing the gauntlet essentially to its Russian counterpart, saying, well, we know how to operate on your territory. We can strike at any moment, any time, and there's nothing you can do about it. So this is basically hoping to get his Western NATO master to notice him and to give him maybe more viability in the future.
Yeah, this is a really grim confession. Who is the Ukrainian Secret Service trying to impress by admitting to this, to targeting civilian infrastructure and killing innocent civilians?
Well, obviously, the most hardcore elements within the State Department, everyone is vying to try to remain useful in the eyes of the hardcore people like Victoria Nuland and Antony Blinken. And obviously, the only way that requires someone to act with that in mind as a purpose is those people who are willing to double down, which is the neocon way. You double down and to hell with the consequences. They know they enjoy impunity, so they can tacitly admit to going after civilians and exerting state terrorism, and there's not going to be any consequences, so they think anyway.
Talk to us about how the West has reacted to this confession by the head of the SBU. I mean, taking into account that the West has often stated that it opposes striking civilian targets.
Well, you've got obviously the official discourse, which is all about human rights issues and defending democracy, et cetera, and then you got the more cynical aspect of it, which bears on looking the other way or assuming that what people describe as being in plain sight does not exist or is at the very least exaggerated. So this is against that background that Ukraine senior official can go online or live and make outstanding, outlandish admission statements, which, sure enough, if they were to be apprehended as a result of the current conflict, would get him into trouble, legally speaking, in an international tribunal.
Yeah, what accounts for this hypocrisy, though? Why do you think the Western media is remaining silent on this?
Well, because for the time being, there's still some kind of uncertainty as to the viability of the Ukraine project. So they're not going to be throwing the water with the baby or the baby with the water. For now, they are maintaining this kind of tone-deaf approach to what those people are saying in Kiev. But that might change within 6 months to a year when the front collapses, to the extent there are less and less capabilities now for the Ukrainian army to function as a cohesive whole. We can expect that senior officials in Kiev will be dropped one after the other. And this gentleman at the SBU will probably be at the top of the list.
Given this admission now, though, and the reaction or lack of reaction that we've seen from the West, do you expect Ukrainian officials to begin taking responsibility for other attacks previously that had remained silent on, for example, assassination of prominent Russian journalists?
Well, obviously, this is a regime that is backed against the wall, but which knows that its time is counted. And so they are resorting to increasingly desperate and outlandish courses of action. There's no much rationality into how they do it. They just do it because they are just drinking the whole Kool-Aid of having the media, the Western media, legacy media, protecting them and basically looking the other way. But again, time is running out, and sooner or later, someone's going to have to account for this gigantic failure, and people will be reclaiming, heads, and the people that will be on the chopping block will be Ukrainian officials, to be sure.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Political consultant and human rights advocate Arnaud Devalet, thank you for your time.
Thank you.